Welcome YouTubers and do-it-yourselfers. I'm going to try and show and explain to you how I installed my own tailgate speaker system for the Multipro tailgate, as I did not want to spend the $700 for the kicker system. Please excuse the video quality. It's not near as good as I would have liked, but I hope it still gives you a good visual of my walkthrough installation. Here I'm showing you the tilt switch that I used. That allowed power to go to it when it's in the down position. Those wires are hot when it's sitting in this vertical position here. And when you close the tailgate, it puts those wires up and it actually kills the power to the amplifier. There's my 4.5-inch marine speakers. The link to those is in the description below. Here is my aux input. It has a USB as well as an aux cord. The amplifier accepts 3 inputs, Bluetooth and those 2 others. And here I'm showing you a horrible version of the boxes and trying to give you some things. I'm trying to make it fast. And there's the control panel for the amplifier. And I'm showing you the 3D printouts that we'll use for mounting each of those pieces of equipment, the 2 speakers, the aux cord, and the control panel. And then I'm going to show you what I plan to do. I plan on mounting the speakers, or I'm sorry, the amplifier to that little ridge. There's a hole that I unplugged that harness. I'm going to drill a hole through a hose clamp and then use self-tapping screws and tap into that ridge. The self-tapping screws did not go through the hose clamp, so I had to drill a hole through the hose clamp and then use the self-tapping screws into that ridge. And then I'm going to remove that piece of plastic right there and follow the factory harness for the wires that go to the tailgate latch. And so that's my plan to run my wiring to get power to my amplifier. Here you can see my hose clamps are mounted. There's a green tape on top of that screw. I put some green tape on that screw so that it would stick into the socket, and then I did not have to hold it. It was not magnetic, and I couldn't get it to stay inside the socket, so I just put some green tape over it. It stuck into that socket and held it. And then I could just drill right into it. Like I said, I had to drill a hole through the hose clamp. There's my self-tapping screws. There's my socket, as well as my impact wrench that I used to install those screws. Once I went through the hose clamp, it went right through that sheet metal. I just tried to get them as far out as I could that I knew would still hold the amplifier. Now the amplifier is in there. It looks like it's wiggling a little bit, but that's really mostly just that leftover from the hose clamp. It's pretty solid. Of course, that amplifier is built for side-by-sides and all kinds of stuff, so it's marine-proof, and it should last quite a bit of abuse, I think. I was pretty pleased with the mounting of it. I'm sure there's better ideas that somebody had out there, but that's the one I ended up sticking with it. And then I'm getting ready to remove this piece of plastic, so it's those screws. I'm going through them as fast as I possibly can, so maybe you can't see that, but there are, 2, 4, 6, 8 screws, I think. And you just remove those with a Torx bit. I think it was a 25 Torx bit. I had a little bit of issue. There's a clamp that was right in the middle. I wasn't too sure if it was hooked or exactly how it was held on after I removed those screws, but it was just that one little clamp right in the middle that I'm showing you right there. Now I'm showing you where I did my wiring. It's just that one wire. I just bought some 16 gauge wire and I ran it through that tailgate, and I ran it over here on the right hand side up through the hinge, up through that hinge, and then out that hole, the same one. I just followed the factory harness is all I did, guys. You can see that red wire. I ended up tightening it up a whole lot better through that and through the bottom of the tailgate through the pickup bed. Now you can see that I zip tied that up, and like I said, I followed that harness the best I could. I wanted to give as much room as the harness was because I didn't want anything pinched. I put in, I think, 2 zip ties behind that. That was kind of hard to do, but I ended up basically doing it and sliding it together.
Let's take a quick look at it.
Now I'm going to try to explain to you that I'm ended up done. So here's what I did. Here's the power cord. It's coming straight from the battery. It's connected to the yellow wire as well as the input of the tilt switch. I know it's black, but it's not a ground. I'm supposed to probably connect that tilt switch to a ground and not power, but I did it with power. Probably might mess up for that. I don't know. But that's why it's black, guys. It's just the input of the tilt switch. There you can see my tilt switch is stuck to the bed of the truck. I was going to stick it to the amplifier, but I ended up sticking it to the bed of the truck. And you can see it's vertical. You want to make sure the wires are down while the tailgate is down, and then they're up when the tailgate's up. And then, of course, it comes out of that tilt switch into the red wire. It's treating it like ignition. When your ignition's on, then that's on. And there you can see my connection. I used a solder shrink. So you heat it up with a heat gun and it solders itself, and well as it shrinks up. There I'm showing you the RCA inputs that came from the RCA from the aux cord as well as the USB. Just ran it through the tailgate and connected the USB to the amplifier. A lot of extra wires that I probably should have trimmed a little bit right before I made all my connections, but I wanted to, it's easier to take away than it is to add wire. And so I wanted to make sure I had plenty of wire. It all tucked away fairly nice. Here I'm showing you where I did my power. Like I said, I just ran it and followed I don't know, there's another red cord right there. I have a diesel engine for whatever that's worth. And I just connected it straight to that bolt right there. You can, like I said, you can see that little button. I ran it down through the wheel well. I didn't realize I had that much left over until I started filming this. So I ended up unhooking that and tightening it up. And then I'm showing you that I ran that power cord basically right along that wiring harness. Those clips that are holding that wiring harness actually clipped my wire right in there. Be careful of that black stuff that's on the frame, guys. That gets on your hands and it does not want to come off very well. I don't know what type of coating it is. I'm assuming it's going to be very, really, really good. Here I have everything done. I want to show you what it does. You drop the tailgate and drop the step, and then drop, of course, there's a step part. As soon as that bottom piece went, it turned on. Yeah, I do. And I can't run that very long or we'll get copyrighted. So I need to probably find something that I can't get copyrighted. But there it is, the final install, guys. One of my goals was I did not want to have to install spacers for that actual step. I wanted it to click shut like it was supposed to. There were a couple people that I've seen do that, and they've added spacers because those speakers were just too big, or the guards of them were too big, and so you can still see the amplifiers on, and now you can see nothing because I have no idea what I'm doing. But I'm trying to close the tailgate, and as soon as I do, it turned it off. And that concludes my video. I hope that was fast enough. It's probably too fast, but hopefully it gives you an idea and you're not too bored from it. Any comments, suggestions, questions, just leave them below, or and I'll get them and I'll try to respond as quick as I can. Good luck, guys.